Imagine a vast island nation, more powerful than any other in the known world. It commands mighty fleets, glistens with gold, and hums with advanced technology. It's a utopia, until, in a single night of fire and flood, it vanishes without a trace. This is Atlantis. But what if I told you that everything you've heard about Atlantis might be wrong? That it could be more than myth, less about lost cities and more about lost truths? Let's rewind. The year is 360 BCE. Plato, the Greek philosopher, writes two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. In them, he describes a grand civilization beyond the Pillars of Heracles, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. Atlantis, he says, was larger than Libya and Asia combined, and its people were descendants of the god Poseidon. Wait, Poseidon? Yes. According to Plato, the god of the sea fathered 5 sets of twin sons, each of whom ruled a section of the island. At the center stood a magnificent capital, ringed by concentric circles of land and water, with temples plated in silver and orichalcum, a mysterious metal even more precious than gold. But here's the twist. Plato says Atlantis wasn't a fantasy. He claims it was a real place, existing 9,000 years before his own time. If that's true, Atlantis would be older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older than history as we know it. So, what happened to it? According to Plato, Atlantis grew arrogant. Its armies stretched across Europe and Africa, but when it tried to conquer Athens, the gods struck it down. In a single cataclysmic day and night, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea. Myth, allegory, or distorted memory of a real event? So, why would Plato invent such a vivid tale? And why have we been obsessed with it for over 2,000 years? Some historians say Atlantis was Plato's political metaphor, a warning against hubris and the dangers of a corrupt civilization. Others believe he was drawing from ancient Egyptian records, possibly relayed to his ancestor, Solon, who visited Egypt about a century earlier. The Egyptians, Plato claims, told of a mighty empire destroyed by flood and fire. Sound familiar? But there's more. Plato places Atlantis 9,000 years before his own time. That's around 11,000 BCE, the end of the last ice age. Coincidentally, that's also when massive glacial melting triggered dramatic sea level rise and global climate shifts. Could Atlantis be a cultural memory of real coastal civilizations drowned by those ancient floods? Now, fast forward to modern times. The 19th century. Ignatius Donnelly, a U.S. congressman and amateur historian, revives the legend. In 1882, he publishes Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, claiming that Atlantis was the source of all ancient civilizations, Egyptian, Mayan, even Norse. He argues that the great flood myths across cultures point to one shared origin, the destruction of Atlantis. Suddenly, Atlantis fever sweeps the world. Theosophists say it was home to an advanced psychic race. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, claims Atlanteans had crystal energy and could control gravity. Even Nazis searched for Atlantis, hoping to prove Aryan superiority. Yes, Atlantis even shaped ideologies. But what does science say? Let's examine the suspects. Santorini, or ancient Thera. In 1600 BCE, this volcanic island exploded in one of the largest eruptions in human history. Tsunamis followed, devastating the Minoan civilization in Crete. Sound familiar? A powerful, advanced society, wiped out by the sea. But there's a problem. Thera lies within the Mediterranean, not beyond the Pillars of Heracles. Unless Plato was being symbolic. Or maybe his sources distorted the geography over centuries. The Rishite structure in Mauritania, West Africa, also called the Eye of the Sahara. Satellite images reveal a massive concentric ring formation, eerily similar to Plato's description, and it's roughly the right size. Could this be the lost city, buried in the desert, not the sea? But wait, Plato said Atlantis had rivers and elephants. Guess what? Fossils in the Sahara show that elephants once roamed there. Even rivers once carved the desert's surface. And the Sahara wasn't always a desert. It was green and fertile just 10,000 years ago. The Caribbean. There are underwater anomalies off the coast of Cuba. And then there are submerged roads near Bimini in the Bahamas. Could rising sea levels at the end of the Ice Age have swallowed coastal cities? But let's go even deeper. What if Atlantis was never a single place, but an echo of many lost worlds? Consider Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, 12,000 years old, or the mysterious Yonaguni Monument off Japan. Could these be fragments of a forgotten chapter in human history? A chapter wiped away by the melting of the glaciers when sea levels rose over 400 feet. And then there's Doggerland, once a land bridge connecting Britain to mainland Europe. Around 8,000 years ago, it was submerged by rising seas. Archaeologists have found tools, bones, and remnants of settlements beneath the North Sea. A global flood, lost knowledge, rising waters, the ingredients for myth and memory. Even the Bible, the epic of Gilgamesh, and Hindu scriptures like the Mahabharata tell of massive floods and drowned civilizations. Is it possible they're all remembering the same ancient cataclysm? So let's loop back to the core question. What happened to Atlantis? The answer might not lie in any one theory, but in a convergence of history, geology, and human imagination. Maybe Atlantis was a real place distorted over time. Or perhaps it was never about geography at all, but about us, our longing for a perfect world, our fear of losing it, our fascination with the line between fact and fable. Atlantis isn't just a city lost to the sea. It's an idea, a warning, of civilizations that rise too high, dream too big, and vanish too fast. But here's the final twist. What if we are Atlantis? A powerful global civilization, connected by technology, pushing the boundaries of nature, teetering on the edge of environmental collapse. Plato's tale wasn't just about the past. Maybe it's a prophecy. And if that possibility intrigues you as much as it does us, don't let this be the last mystery you explore with us. Only 1% of our viewers ever subscribe, but that one simple click helps us bring more forgotten stories, hidden truths, and fascinating questions to light. So if you want more time-bending journeys through history, myths, and mysteries, subscribe to 5 Minutes of Culture. Because some answers are worth chasing, even if they've been lost for 11,000 years.